If you like my videos, please check out my website at creationsciencefiction.com. You'll find articles on creationism there, as well as my blog. I also have a Creation Science Fiction Facebook page now, too. Well, someone just let me know that I guess a guy named NephilimFree did a video where he took excerpts from my Kent Hovind debate and misunderstood what was being talked about completely. I Googled this guy, and it looks like it's not the first time he's made really stupid mistakes. So let's just look at this video and see what he has to say.
I've been doing Christian and creation apologetics for about 11 years. But in all that time, it never ceases to amaze me that so many evolutionists are adamant that science refutes the creation model and the Noahic flood and verifies that evolution is true. But when it comes to actually understanding the creation model, especially the Noahic flood, so many seem completely clueless. And here we have Bill Ludlow, who considers himself some kind of expert on evolution and how creation is wrong, and yet he doesn't understand the Noahic flood at all. He seems to think the Noahic flood is believed by creationists to have created a single flood layer somewhere in the geologic column, presumably down low. How ridiculous this is. The Noahic flood created the entire geologic column.
Well, anyone who's ever seen one of my videos on the Grand Canyon, flood geology, creation science, as far as what they teach about geology and the flood, knows that I've never, ever said anything about a single layer, that creationists believe a single layer was laid down by the flood. As far as his claim that the geologic column, the entire thing, was laid down by Noah's flood, that goes against what flood geologists and creation scientists teach about it. Now, this isn't the entire geologic column, it's just what we see in the Grand Canyon, but I'm going to use it as an example. Now, Andrew Snelling and other flood geologists teach that the Grand Canyon supergroup at the bottom, seen in red, was pre-flood, but it's still part of the geologic column. There's lots of creationist internet articles and even journal articles like this one that establish the pre-flood boundary was just at or just below the Cambrian layers, but the layers below, still belonging to the geologic column, were pre-flood. There's no consensus at all on the post-flood boundary. Some creationists put it at the end of the Cretaceous, at the KPG boundary. Other ones put it at the end of the Eocene, some even more recent than that. Now let's listen to what else this guy has to say, because it gets pretty funny.
Now, I had no idea who Bill Ludlow was until recently when a friend pointed him out to me. So I watched a debate that he had with Kent Hovind and discovered that he believes that creationists think the flood of Noah created a single flood layer somewhere in the geologic column. That's an absurd idea. No creationist believes this. How could he be so ignorant of the flood of Noah, the geologic events that took place during the flood of Noah, claim to know so much about why it never happened?
You can't tell me where the flood layer was. If the flood happened, in the layer where Homo erectus was, let's say, okay, wouldn't we expect to find humans? Didn't all the humans on Earth die in that flood, you believe? So wouldn't we expect to find humans in the layers below that? We don't find them, Kent. We don't find a single one. Your model predicts we would.
He must have completely missed what Kent Hovind and I were talking about. A little bit before those clips there, I was talking with Kent about the post-flood boundary, and that was the layer I was referring to.
Well, where's this flood boundary? If you say there was a flood, where does it end in the fossil record?
I think nearly all of the layers of strata were formed at the same time. There is no fossil record.
All layers?
I said nearly all of those layers formed today in localized floods. Mount St. Helens deposited a thick layer of ash over my sister's yard.
That's not the same at all. That's volcanic. Well, where is the last sedimentary layer that was laid down by this flood you believe in? It should be really obvious, right? I mean,
no, I don't know.
You have no idea. Okay.
You see, that's the layer that I was referring to, the top layer. I also referred to specific layers like the layer that Lucy was found in and the layer that Homo erectus was found in, but never once did I ever suggest that I believe that creationists think that there was one single layer laid down by Noah's flood.
And the evolutionists have the gall to tell creationists they're the ones who are ignorant. Isn't that rich?
Well, you're either ignorant or dishonest, NephilimFree, because you certainly didn't understand what it was I was talking about with Kent Hovind. You didn't understand that I was talking about specific layers, like the top layer near the post-flood boundary. I may be new to YouTube, but I've been doing this a lot longer than he has, over twice as long. And hey, NephilimFree, anytime you want to find out what I think creationists believe about Noah's flood, or what I believe about it, go ahead and get a hold of me. But I wouldn't make a video saying what I believe without checking with me first. The truth is, you don't seem to really understand what creationists teach about your own myth.